What is up, everybody? It's your boy Jason from the Lockdown. I got my boy Frank's Fight Club, and we're going to be talking about another fight card, Renato Moicano against Chris Duncan. Frank, how we doing, man?
I'm excited, man. Whenever Chris Duncan fights, I'm excited, man. He's one of my favorite prospects to watch, so I'm happy he's finally getting a little bit more recognition.
So this is the Chin Check podcast. We're going to break down every single fight. If you want to see more of us, make sure you subscribe, put a thumbs up, leave a comment. Who do you guys got? Who's your favorite play? I want to know what you guys got, but we're going to go straight into it, man. We're going to go to Renato Moicano against Chris Duncan. Frank, why don't you start us off? Who you got in this fight? What are your thoughts here?
So I like Chris Duncan. He's a pretty big favorite. I did see one thing that it was only on Bet Online odds, but Chris Duncan opened for a plus 185 for a minute. It was only a couple minutes. It was so weird because I have seen a couple people talk about it where at 401 he was plus 185 and at 403 he was minus 175. So there was a massive shift. So in my opinion, he was never that price because everywhere else he's always been minus 175 or better. I do agree with the price line. I think Moicano is slowly, well, I don't know if I'd say slowly, but he's on the decline. Obviously, he lost to Islam Makhachev, but he did lose to Beneil Dariush by decision as well after that point. I think Chris Duncan is honestly not a young prospect. He's 32 years old, but I think he's going to be too dangerous for Moicano. I think his ground game is a lot better. On the feet, I'd say they're pretty even, but I think Chris Duncan has more power while Moicano can probably put his combos together and get out of his range a lot better than I think Duncan can win if they're trading in the pocket. If he gets him in the clinch, I think that's where his advantage is in closing the distance. And I think Chris Duncan will be able to do it. He's been pretty much an underdog in majority of his UFC fights so far. So I was honestly surprised when I saw the line at this price at minus 180. I thought he'd be around the minus 135, my price point. So I'm not sure if I'm going to bet the money line at minus 185, minus 200. I'll probably wait to see what props come out for him to win by a certain finish, or if I get him by decision, because this is going to be a 5-round fight, which is weird that Moicano versus Duncan would be a 5-rounder, because you would never expect this to be a main event, especially a 5-round fight. So that makes it a little more interesting because I'm not sure how Chris Duncan's going to do in a 5-rounder. We've never seen him in a 5-round fight, so I don't even know if it's going to go 5 rounds too. There's that as well. It's a very interesting fight, and I think we're either going to get shocked early and Duncan's just going to put Moicano away, or we're going to see a Moicano-Dariush situation where Moicano weathers the storm, dominates early, and just takes down the prospect like he did the last time. But I'm going the Chris Duncan way. I can see a Moicano win happening. Decent price. He's a decent underdog price. We've seen him do it before at this type of underdog line. But I think Duncan is going to be too much for him.
This is a really interesting fight. I'm entertained by this main card or this main event. Most people, if you're not really into the UFC or in the betting space, you may not really know who these guys are. But Moicano has fought top-tier competition. Has he done well against all of them? No. He lost his last 2 fights against Islam. That's totally fine. Almost everyone's going to lose to him. And then Dariush, I actually thought he had a chance to beat Dariush, but he kind of slowed down and fought really poorly, in my opinion. That fight was his to win, but didn't win that fight. He did beat Benoit Saint Denis, totally beat the crap out of him. Jalen Turner, a fight that he should have lost, but Jalen Turner gave it up. They didn't go for the finish, but he ended up getting the knockout. So credit to him, been durable. And also beat Drew Dober, who is a tough fight. It's not easy. The reason why I say the betting space, because I know both these fighters, the gambler, sports betting guys who back them a lot, like my boy Matty Betts is really good friends, does a podcast with Moicano, and then my friend Luca de James, he has another MMA YouTube show. He's really good friends with Chris Duncan, so it's going to be interesting to see. I'm going to text them both, see how they're feeling, but they're obviously going to support each of their boys. They both actually fight or trained in American Top Team, so they've trained together before. I saw an interview where Chris Duncan said that Moicano's never tapped them out. I don't know to what extent they train heavily together, but the familiarity is something that Duncan has done already. He beat Rebecca, who also trains in American Top Team. So he has great training partners. They obviously know a lot about each other. So we'll see how this fight goes. I think this price is a little bit off. I don't think he should be minus 200, minus 180. I think Duncan should be a favorite, maybe minus 150. minus 140, around where you said. I think Chris Duncan seems to have the upside. He's been performing very well. He's been streaking, right? One of bad guys, as they have some momentum. Working his way out, in my opinion. He has his podcast going, he has a lot of the social media going. And this is probably a step down in terms of name value from where he's fought before. But I think it's justifiable. I don't think Moicano's ever at this level with Islam. He just got the opportunity. He took it. Why not? And then a fight he could have won. So Moicano fought tip-top competition. So I do think the value may be on Moicano. I think even though Chris Duncan has good wrestling, Moicano definitely has the better grappling upside. So if it gets to the floor, I would favor Moicano, especially if he's on top. And then on the feet, I think Duncan has more pop in his shot, and Moicano's gotten cracked in multiple fights. So I think Chris Duncan can win by finish, get a knockout. But if Moicano wins, I could see maybe a decision. Maybe he's able to use his experience, get some ground control and maybe get a tap out. But I'm not in love with Chris Duncan's price. But I do think he probably will get the victory. I was fortunate to pick a winner, but value on Moicano in my opinion. But I think Chris Duncan wins. All right, let's see. Next fight on the board. Let's see. We'll go down. Oops, my bad. We go this one. This one could be the main event in my opinion. I'm not a big fan of all women fights, but I like these girls, man. Verna Jandiroba against Tabatha Ricci fight. Let's see the odds right now on this site. Minus 140 for Tabatha Ricci. If we go to, let's see the fight odds. That's actually much closer. That's what I thought. Basically, almost an even fight now. Verna Jandiroba is a minus 120 favorite. So the line has flipped from Jandiroba being an underdog to now being the slight favorite. So I agree with this, man. I think Verna is very good, man. She might not have the best stand-up, but her takedowns, her sweeps, and then her ground control is top of the top, man. She lost to Mackenzie Dern, who was equally better than her in the grappling. They've had past history before. But if you look at who she's beat before that, Yan Jiaonan, Amanda Lemos, Lupita Godinez, Marina Rodriguez, top-tier woman, man, and she takes you to the floor, are in big danger to getting submitted. After she got a knockout against Ribas, lost to Yan Jiaonan, a common opponent. So you want to do some MMA math. Angela Hill, that's a decent win. Tisha, look, what I'm going to say is Tabatha Ricci definitely has some physicality. Definitely, maybe some advantage, or maybe it's gotten less because Verna has gotten a little bit better on her feet. Well, but she has a stand-up advantage. But I think Verna's going to take her down, control her, maybe get a tap. I think Tabatha Ricci is very good. She's very strong. She's capable everywhere. But I think Verna's grappling is top of the women's division in the strawweight division. So I agree with the line movement. When I saw she was an underdog, there's no way. I think it should be at least a pick 'em to Verna being the favorite. But Frank, what do you think? Do you have any other take on this?
I think Verna should be bigger than a pick'em, to be honest. I thought she would open at like a minus 150 price. So when I saw her at the underdog, I got on it early. I got it before it shifted. I didn't understand it. I got her at plus 120, and I don't really see what they're looking at because the ground advantage is so massive in this fight. And Verna's not the best on the feet, but she can hold her own, and she sets up for her takedowns. Tabatha Ricci is nowhere near the same level with Verna when it comes to the ground game. And I don't think she's going to be able to get back up. I think we're going to see a lot of control time. She's going to drown her. And if she does get back up, she's probably going to be too tired to do anything on the feet by the time it gets to that second, third round. So I think we might see a close round in the first round if it stays standing. I don't think Verna will keep it standing in the first round either, but we might see a little bit of back and forth for the first minute and a half, 2 minutes. But once it does get to the ground, I don't think this fight is close at all, unless Tabatha Ricci is somehow getting up or not getting taken down to begin with. But I think Verna's just going to be shooting on her constantly. So I don't see this fight going any other way. I think she should be honestly a bigger favorite than a pick'em right now. So I still think she's at a pretty good price for what it's at. I think I would take her up to minus 150.
I think it's weird. I'm surprised that she's only a minus 120 favorite. She's beaten some top tier girls in dominant fashion. Some, especially their common opponent, Yan Jiaonan. Jandiroba didn't give her any chances, really, in my opinion. Yan Jiaonan, I think she beat Mackenzie Dern, but I don't know. She's had a problem with wrestling her entire career. But Jandiroba, she gets you on the floor. Even Dern had a little bit of difficulty. She's probably one of the, if not the best grappler in her division. So I'm with you, man. Maybe there's something I'm missing too, but I don't understand why she opened up as an underdog though. All right, next fight on the board. I don't know if you want to go too much into this one, but we got Tommy McMillen against Manolo Zacchini. I don't know how to say it exactly. I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name. He is a massive favorite. Oh, let me scroll down. Oops. He is a minus 1,000. Let's see if that's the same thing on fight odds. Let's see.
14, 16.
Minus 1,600. I don't know if you want to say anything about this or you got any take on this.
The craziest thing is he's not even the biggest favorite on the card, which is ridiculous, but it's probably going to be Tommy McMillen by finish, I would assume. They're really just giving him a layup fight after being on the Contender Series, which I don't really understand. I feel like he could have got a more prominent opponent than Zacchini, but I think McMillen's going to make easy work of him. If he doesn't, that's going to be really telling, in my opinion. This should not go longer than the first round. And if it does, I think that's honestly pretty concerning.
Hey, man, look, I think Tommy McMillen's going to win, too. I think the odds are the way they are for a reason. But, of course, anyone can win any of these fights for sure. But I think the odds are definitely in his favor. I don't know what – I can't imagine what the odds are for him to get a knock. It must be like minus 300. The first round maybe is minus 120 or minus 120.
There's nothing touchable in this fight.
So I'd suggest, guys, skip the fight. Even if you add the money line for Tommy on your parlay, it doesn't add anything. You don't need to add the unnecessary risk for almost no reward. That's what I always say. So I'd skip it, but you would too, right?
There's no way I'm betting on that fight whatsoever. This might be out of order. I think that's a prelim.
This is the Tapology order right now. So we can skip this if you want. We'll go to the next one, which is...
it should be Ribeiro versus...
I don't know why. Look, they have these as the main cards.
Yeah,
messed up.
They have messed up there.
Let's see, but we can skip that. See, where's Ribeiro? Where's he at?
Down
right here,
and then Ethan Ewing. And
let's go to this one. You can start it off. We have my man Abdul Razak Yakyayev against Benson Ribeiro. Frank,
this is the biggest. He's a minus 2,000.
Yeah,
which is crazy. So, once again, guys, not betting on this fight, but I don't know. I don't think he should be minus 2,000. Ribeiro's not good, but is he? Plus, what is he now? Plus 1,000?
Is he plus 800?
Is he plus 1,000 bad? I don't think he's that bad. He's probably going to lose his fight. Same thing, probably very early, but I don't think there's any fight where two trained professional athletes should be that big of a gap, unless it's
there's one CM Punk if he fought someone.
Of course, he's not really a trained MMA fighter. Unless it's Ali or Islam versus a replacement at the last minute, Moicano fight with Islam, something like that. That I understand. This is like, I don't get it, man. I understand the pricing because Abdul Rahman's gonna win. He's gonna win early, but it's just like it's completely unbettable. You can't touch either one of these. So
I agree, man. I think he's actually really good. Ribeiro's dangerous. It's not like he's a complete bum. I mean, we've seen him get some pretty good wins. But he fought some of I can't say like top of the top, but he's fought some guys that are maybe at the middle level and he's lost and got to finish. I don't know what it is because he seems like a very athletic, dangerous fighter, but he gets caught. He has good moments on some of his fights, but has looked very impressive in all his recent fights. His last fight in the UFC, he totally just ran through that guy. So he should do it here.
I expect him to do the same thing.
Probably the only way he's going to win is by finish, whether it's the first round or second round. You've seen Ribeiro slow down, so I imagine it's going to be super juiced to under 1.5 rounds. Finishes in the first round. But again, another fight I will not add to my parlay, but if you want to get very specific, I'd say if you could do the first under 1.5 rounds, might be, but it must be juiced, though. It has to be. All right, let's see. Let's talk about the next fight. Let's do this one. I'll let you start off again because we really haven't got a chance to talk about these fights because the odds have been so crazy. But let's talk about this one, man. Rafael Estevam against Ethan Ewing. Frank, take us off. Who do you got?
So this fight shifted. Ewing's a favorite now around minus 140 to minus 160 range. Some places you'll get him at minus 135.
Minus 140, yep.
I've been on Estevam as the dog, and here are my reasons. I like Ethan Ewing. I was very impressed with his performance against Malcolm Wellmaker.
Yep, I was there in New York watching that. And I was I bet Ethan Ewing live when I saw him fight. I was like, wow, he's doing pretty good.
He was super clean, and this pick for me is literally just pricing. because the pricing doesn't make sense to me. Because Estevam, we've seen him in the UFC multiple fights. He's undefeated. I think he's 4-0 in the UFC, if I'm not mistaken.
Charles Johnson too, yeah.
A tested guy in the UFC, and he's undefeated. And his ground game is great. He's really good on the ground. Malcolm Wellmaker didn't have a ground threat whatsoever. He was just Malcolm Wellmaker is a left hook, and it's a very powerful left hook. Ethan Ewing was styling on him, which was very, very fun to watch. And I would love to see Ethan Ewing win this fight, but the pricing doesn't make sense to me the way it is right now with him being a minus 150. When we're getting the more experienced guy in the UFC with possibly the better ground game. We haven't really seen Ewing's ground game against upper echelon opponents, but Estevam's ground game is fantastic. Undefeated in the UFC, undefeated period, and undefeated in the UFC going into his 5th fight. And he's not an old guy either. He's still only 29 years old. I think I have to go that way with the dog just based on pricing. I can't lay the line of minus 150 on Ewing. When he's fighting Wellmaker and he's plus 400, it's like in that first round, it makes sense why you would live bet him because he looked great and he was still like a plus 200. But at this point pre-fight, I don't think it's justifiable for me at least to get him at minus 150.
Yeah, guys. So when he fought Wellmaker, I was at MSG. I was one of the few people that were like one of the prelims with my friends, and I was watching. I was like, "Damn, this guy Ethan Ewing's like he's doing pretty good." I think he's doing. And then he was still like a big underdog for a long time, and I'm like, you know what? He won the first round for sure. He looks like he's gonna stick around. Let me just put a flyer on him, and he won. He dominated him, and I think that's the reason why he moved to such a big favor is just the recency bias. Malcolm Wellmaker is one of the most probably hyped guys with his crazy knockouts. But I always said it, Wellmaker's knocking out who? He's not knocking out like the top of the top, right? I mean, knock out someone like Charles Johnson, who Estevam beat. And to your point, Ethan Ewing, I don't know too much about him. No one really knew too much about him. We just knew that he was pretty confident, pretty well-rounded, and that maybe if he got hit by Wellmaker's power, Wellmaker could probably put his lights out. That didn't happen, obviously. Ethan Ewing was able to use his defense, good footwork, good stand-up. But I think, like you said, this fight should be a pick 'em at least to Estevam being the favorite. Let's look even like with rankings, like his experience, what he's done in the UFC. I mean, Wellmaker, Ethan Ewing really didn't fight anyone too impressive. So I think we did see that, sure, he stepped up, got a big win. Now the UFC is giving him a little bit more than he could chew just off a second fight, but he deserves it, though. He beat a big step up last minute, dominated him, and now I think he's going to fight a very well-rounded fighter, and we'll see if he's at that level, but I'm not going to pay minus 140 for me to test out if Ewing is going to beat someone who's pretty well-tested. Doing this just like because he's undefeated, but I think his style, they're both very, very well-rounded, and at the very least, it should be a pick-em, and if I'm going to get Estevam, let's see, he has a plus 120 on some books, give it to me. So I think the values here. This is one of I think it's a great dog spot because it's a fight he can definitely win. Clear path to win if he gets ground control. I think Estevam could be get this W and make maybe put Ethan Ewing back in his prior spot. But hey, look, maybe he might be the next big name in the game because he had a big win against a big prospect. If you get one here, he's gonna quickly rise up the ranks.
100%.
All right, let's see. Let's talk about the next fight. Should we go from here?
We can go back up to the
let's see. This one?
Yep.
So Robert Ruchel against Jose Delano. Jose Delano's a big favorite. Let's see if that's still the case, guys. See, Jose Delano is a minus 390 favorite. I said some of these other big favorite fights, minus 400 is not an area I want to bet unless I have a clear pathway for him to definitely get the win. I've done some decent wins. He's got some by decision, by knockout, by mission. Last loss was against William Gomes, Gomes is a pretty decent fighter. I'm not too certain like how I think will win. I think he has a pathway to finish it, but also I can see it going to decision as well. For me, it's a pass. I think maybe I don't know what the over-under is for this fight. I lean maybe a little bit over, but I'm just gonna probably pass on this fight. I don't know if you have any strong insights for this one versus the last few fights we looked at.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the prices to come out. I really gotta see. I'm leaning going Delano by finish because I think Delano by decision is gonna be the most common outcome. It's probably gonna be around plus 130. I'm assuming. I do think Delano can get a finish. I think he's very dangerous. on the feet, and he's got good ground game as well. He has a few submissions on his record, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he has one. I think. Let's see, he had one right here. Rear naked choke at LFA.
Yeah, years ago, so not recently, but a couple wins ago. I think him by finish is going to have some decent value on it. If you wanted to go that way, it'll probably be like around a plus 180 if you're taking knockout and submission, is what I'm guessing. So I might play that. Other than that, probably not going to play anything else. But I do think Delgado is going to win this fight pretty convincingly.
Yeah, obviously you guys have to get more specific on how you want to this pick if you do want to back Delgado in some way. But again, like you guys could also still bet like props, certain round start, so many type of. But even you could bet spreads if you think it goes to a decision. Yeah, I mean, it's tough just to bet money lines now on fighters because the books are just making them either way too juiced or it's just so insane. But hey, it's the game we play. All right, let's see. Let's talk about this next fight. Haley Cohen against Alice Pereira. The Cohen looks like to be a -110 favorite on Tapology, but let's see if that's still the case. Let's see.
It's the first fight.
There you go here. Plus 102. Yeah, so now she is the plus 102 underdog. So, Frank, why don't you start us off? Who you got in this one?
Going Pereira, but it's a little bit of a caution spot. I'm not going to bet on this one. She's only 20 years old, right? So it's seeing someone who has all of the skill set and has all the ability to be good in women's MMA, but is the experience going to get to her? And that's like she's fighting someone who's 14 years older than her. That is a massive thing. Even though Cohen doesn't have that many fights on her record, it's still like I see an age gap that big. It concerns me because it's not like a 25 versus 38 where it's guys coming into his prime and this guy's almost 40. It's still barely an adult fighting someone who's 34. But this fight is a skip for me. But I did predict Pereira to win. It's going to probably be by a decision. I'd be very surprised if we see a finish. But once again, what a surprise, guys. The first fight of the night's a women's fight that I'm not betting on. This has happened like the fourth week in a row now that there's a women's fight opening the card that I'm like, I just say, yeah, I'm probably going to skip it because who knows who's going to win. This is a constant theme on the Chin Check podcast that we say every single week. So when there's a women's fight that opens the card, I'm probably skipping it. So there you go. But I'm leaning Pereira to win the fight as my prediction.
Hey man, like, I'm gonna agree with you again. Cohen doesn't seem like a super great fighter. I lost to Jamie Lynn Horth, who I'm not high on. Mm-hmm. She lost to Nora Cornoli. Again, another fight I'm not too high on. Excuse me. I don't know. I didn't get to watch some tape on her last fight, but it was a decision win, a split decision win. So I don't know if that fight was close. But yeah, I think for the things you mentioned, I think Pereira probably has a little bit of upside on the feet. But I'm not super high on this fight either. I probably just watch it like you and see what happens. But if I was to make a pick and forced to do it, I agree with this line movement. I think Pereira should be the favorite, and I think she wins this fight, but not super crazy on this one. All right, let's see. We went through these already, so let's go to the next one. Alessandro Costa against Stewart Nicoll. Another big favorite, man. I don't know what's up with all these big favorites, why it keeps on happening. Does look to be the same still. You could get Alessandro Costa at -400. Did not win in his last fight. The UFC got knocked out in Korea by knockout. Before that, he did beat Kevin Borjas, who I'm pretty high on. I did lose his last fight, but Kevin Borjas is a pretty decent fighter. And then Stewart Nicoll also lost his last two fights. At least in competition, man. I don't know, man. Look, he's a big favorite, man. I don't
really get it.
And he's gonna get, and maybe he's gonna get a finish. I lean this fight to go. Oh, oops. Well, what did I just do? Lean this fight to go the distance. I think someone's getting a finish here. It might come from the Costa side, but I don't think this fight's gonna go very low. I don't know what the over under is. Maybe it's 1.5 or 2.5, but I think this fight just you get a finish either by knockout or submission. But I'm the only, if you want to bet Costa, a lot of juice to lay, man. I'm not really sure if I want to lay that much juice for someone who is somewhat proven, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I think if there's any value, Stewart Nicoll does have some value as a dog. But Frank, I don't know. What do you think? Maybe you could sway me either way.
No, honestly ridiculous that we're getting fights like this where an unproven guy who is a win-loss type of guy is a -400 favorite. I don't understand it. 2.5 under 2.5 is the line. +105, -125 both ways. So you played. Honestly, there's a lot of chalk on this card, and to be fair, I think we're gonna see a lot of favorites win on this card. We're gonna see a lot of favorites win, but same thing when I talked about Zellhuber versus King Green. There's gonna be that one where there's a minus 400, 500 or better that gets absolutely destroyed. It's probably gonna have one of these fights on this card, and it's like I'm not about to 6 of these guys that are minus 400, minus 500, minus 1,000, minus 350, and get like plus 80 odds of like a 4-leg from these guys. Not to be fair, because we have a minus 2,000 and minus 1,000. But I expect one of these big favorites to lose once again. So I'm not touching really any of them, to be fair, other than the one guy I might bet on is Delano. Might find a way. But
Yeah.
most of these I'm not touching, especially this one. I don't think Alessandro Costa is good enough to be justified as minus 480 against Stewart Nicoll. So it's a skip for me once again. Might take the over or under. I'm not sure yet. I gotta do more tape study on if I think these guys will get a finish or not. But a lot of people been on Costa, like we saw it on Tapology. It's like Costa was insane.
Yeah, I mean, I think he wins, but I don't. Yeah, I'm not laying minus. That's crazy.
I'm in the same boat. Like I think he probably wouldn't. I don't know, man. Pricing recently has been crazy on a lot of these cards. So it's
and don't worry, guys. You guys like betting underdogs. There will be a lot of underdogs. First of all, you don't need a lot of underdogs to win for you to make money in the long run. For sure, fight card to fight card, and some where the dogs will win, but there are going to be some where a bunch of dogs, big ones, win. And you got to just spots and be careful with it. So
there was a lot of dogs last week, man. We saw it. We saw Lance Gibson Jr. was like a plus 280. Belgari was a dog. There's a ton of them. Oh, a Tofik was a dog against Bahamondes. That was one too. There's a ton of big dogs on that card. So it happens.
Man. I mean, and look, you gotta, you can't do it. See people do that all the time. It's not that
strategy.
All right, next fight in the card, we got Dion Barbosa against Melissa Gatto. Frank, why'd you start us off? What are your thoughts on this fight?
Oh man, the women's MMA fight, that's a pick'em. What's my thought on this one? I'm going Barbosa. She's the line closed a little bit. She's around minus 125, minus 130 now. But some books it's still minus 135, minus 140. So it's still around the same, to be fair. I've been on my prediction. Once again, I'm probably not betting this fight, but I would lean Barbosa or Barbosa by decision. But both these girls have honestly fought some decent competition. But it seems like to me, right when they get their step up, they both lose. And now it's like, okay, you guys fight each other. So whichever one of we're gonna push into getting a ranking, because Barbosa's like right there, almost getting ranked. And Gatto is a win away from getting a ranked opponent, in my opinion, as well. So they put these two girls together, and whoever can find a finish, or sorry, not find a finish, whoever can find a win here is gonna be kind of propped up into get ranked opponent moving on. So I like Barbosa. I think she's a little bit cleaner on the feet, got some really good wrestling. I don't know if Gatto's going to be able to keep up with her on the ground. So that's the way I'm going. Probably not going to bet on this fight once again. And Barbosa's been more active. Like she's been a fighter in recent years. So that's the way I'm going. Can't always records in their opponents. I like Barbosa.
No, yeah, man. I remember right here against Karine Silva, but I remember there was a fight that Karine Silva fought where I bet against her, and then she basically robbed me. I don't know if it's the Barbosa fight. I gotta look at my Instagram, but I like Barbosa. I think she's physical. She has good stand-up, good wrestling. Gatto's not too bad herself. I mean, she got a decent win against Vidal, which is I mean, a girl getting one is pretty good. But before that, lost a split against Ariana Lipski, and then also lost to Tracy Cortez, who's a good wrestler, good physical girl. Barbosa looks to be a physical girl. I mean, she gave Karine some problems. I thought the fight was close. I thought Barbosa won, but yeah, man, the pick for me would be Barbosa. I think she should be a little bit more physical against Gatto, where she's had some problems with girls like that before. It's good that maybe the line's going against her. Get Barbosa to pick them if they could, but we'll see where this line settles out. She has a little bit more experience, like age-wise, but in terms of fighting-wise, both have very similar fight experience. But yeah, my pick is Barbosa. So far, we've been agreeing on most of these things. So hopefully, see we can.
It's kind of
it's all just cash together.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to disagree when there's these many big favorites on the card, and it's like the two dog spots we do like we both because there's value there. But this is another one, man. Bakayev is like a minus 500 against Gore. Now, this one I understand. This one makes sense to me because Tresean Gore has been nothing but he's literally just imagination to me. It's like you see this guy, it's like he's got a great what's it called? He's got a great build for MMA. He's very physical, but he just can't win a fight, man. It's like I don't know what it is. He just can't put it together. He's a really good athlete, but I don't know if this is the sport for him. This is like the kind of he's very, very physical, very athletic.
My man said this. I don't know. This is a sport.
I don't know if this is the sport for Tresean Gore, man. He's 5-4. He lost to Marco Tulio, man, in the Big 25. I don't know. This price I agree with. This could be a minus 500. Then I'm like, okay, I understand it. As Bakayev is very, very dangerous, even with his loss in his last fight against Belguri. We just saw Belguri put out Mansour Malik.
Yeah, Malik,
knocked him out in the second round. And dude, Belguri literally looked like the second coming of Alex Pereira in that fight. He fought exactly like him, and people were worried about his height, saying if Malik closed his chin's gonna be in the air. He had a gap the entire time, so that's not a bad loss. That, in my opinion, that's
so far has been. I thought Mansour was gonna be able to use his wrestling. He tried, but
couldn't do it. Yeah, I think Belguri's gonna go on a little bit of a run in that division, in my opinion. Probably gonna be a title contender within the next year, but Bakayev is gonna win this fight, in my opinion. That's not a bad loss on his record at all. So I think Bakayev don't know if I'm gonna bet it. I gotta wait for those lines to come out to see what he is by finish, but I do think this price is justifiable.
It's gotta be like minus 250. I like Bakayev inside the distance. I don't think Tresean Gore is a UFC level fighter. The guy doesn't have any outstanding skill set. Bakayev is a really good fighter, and like just like Frank said, I iterate what he said. Unfortunately, maybe it gives you guys more confidence. That last fight against is not a bad loss. So I think Bakayev, got the L. This dusts Tresean Gore in this one. So yeah, I think comes back a nice finish win, whether it's by knockout or takes him to the floor and submits him. But to your point, I don't think Tresean Gore should be in the UFC after this one.
Yeah, Bakayev by knockouts plus 135. Bakayev by sub is plus 400.
So when inside the distance, it has to be what, like minus 200
or minus 1.
Okay, I like minus 1. Not that bad. I think he get it done inside the distance. So you take a look. Let's see. We take a look at Bakayev's wins. He's got a few by both submission and knockout. And Tresean Gore is a guy who is there to get finished. So I'm with you, man. Yeah, we got the last fights right here. Thomas Peterson against Gulame Pat or Kong. I don't know how to say his name correctly, but Thomas Peterson did get his ass knocked out against Vitor Petrino. Didn't even try to take him down. Just got absolutely cracked. But before that, got a win against Downtown Mays. I wouldn't say it's a big win. Got knocked out by Shamir. And then before that, beat Muhammad Usman. I remember that fight because I had him against Muhammad Usman. I think he was a pretty decent underdog. But Pat, man, is undefeated, beat Alan Fry. And then there's a few fights within the LFA and the other leagues. It's a pick'em fight. I don't know, man. I like Tom. I mean, he didn't look against Vitor Petrino. If he can't take it to the floor, I don't know if he's gonna be able to win this fight. But I think, let's see. I want to look at the odds right now before.
It's still around there.
Yeah. Okay. So that's good. Still around there. Let's see where's Thomas Peterson. Yeah. I don't know. It's a pick'em. I think if Peterson can take it to the floor, I think he can get a victory. But I'm not very confident either way. I haven't seen enough of Kong to have a strong decision on him to win against Peterson. So I think Peterson does have get this win if he takes it to the floor. But I'm gonna pass probably. I don't know if you have any opinion on this one.
Yeah, that's fair. I think his name is Guilherme. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, probably. You're probably.
When I give up my predictions on Instagram, this was one of my caution picks on Pat, and I got a few comments, people saying like, "Oh, Pat's a dog." Pat's like, he's been tested a little bit, man. Against Alan Fry, that fight with the fight stats have it. He did obviously he won a clear, but it was a little bit concerning. And I think the same thing with this one. Thomas Peterson is tested. I mean, he's been knocked out a couple times. He got knocked out by Shamil Gaziv. I remember I was on that one on Gaziv. This fight, I understand it being a pick'em, and I feel like a lot of people. I think it's going to shift the Pat way. And if it does shift by fight night, I might sprinkle on Peterson as a dog. But right now at a pick'em, I'm not confident, honestly, either one of these ways. I'm leaning Pat to get a win by decision, but not confident enough to give it out as a play. To be fair, like this fight is very, very close. We see maybe inside the distance that might be at a decent price because Peterson's last knockout by Petrino was a late finish. So let me see if that's out. This fight to not go the distance, but it's still probably juiced. Oh no, it's even. Fight ends inside the distance -140 around there. So that's actually not bad to get a finish from either way from these guys. I can see that, but picking a side, I'm not bad on this, but I think Pat will get the win. But I would not be surprised if Peterson can get a finish, or not even a finish, just a decision win in general.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, it's a weird fight, but it's just it's tough for me to make a call. So some of these fights, sometimes, man, if you don't know, you just gotta.
Oh no, you just skip, man.
Let it go. Yeah. All right. This one
is
interesting one. I think we got Lando Venata against Darius Flowers. Frank, why don't you start us off? Who you got?
Oh my god, man! It's these two are literally guys that they're layup fights against whoever they fight. Like when it's like, oh, this is when you see someone who's like a -500. It's one of these two guys. This is the archetype.
Frank's going in on these guys.
Dude, these guys would kill me. All right, I'm being all these guys are like they're underdogs. Both these guys should plus money, is what I'm trying to say. No, but honestly, I do think Lando win. I think he's a little more proven, and I think his losses are. This is what we're basing this fight on. I think his losses are better losses than Flowers' losses. That's what I'm fight on. I think he's got better losses than Flowers, so he's gonna win. But this is what's it at right now? What's it?
Hey, sometimes not how you win, it's how you lose, and I guess
exactly.
You can say that. I get what you're saying. That's good.
It's not about how you win all the time; it's how you lose. So Flowers is +210. I mean, to be honest, fair. Am I laying a line of Lando Venata at -250? No, absolutely not. I'm not touching this if he's at that price. So this could be a decent dog spot because both these guys are very, very finishable, right? Either way you look at it. So I think this should be a lot closer than it is, but I do think Lando Venata is going to win. But it's like, man, how do you literally a sweepstakes for whoever wins this gets to be a +600 underdog in their next fight. Whoever wins this gets the next guy off Contender Series that has like 8 finishes on his record.
I mean, reasonably, this could be whoever loses gets kicked out. Maybe neither one of them have a good fight, both get cut from the.
Yeah, this is potential contract. This is pretty much a Contender Series fight, but they're both at this point. So
and there's no shame in that. Like being a journeyman in the top in the world, it's no shame on that. Just to, if any fighters listen to us,
the UFC needs journeyman, man. It's like you can't. Prospects who are 13-1. That's how you get boxing, and that's how the sport gets boring when you got people just picking fights so they can stay undefeated. Like that's not how MMA works. But this is all betting analysis, and I'm not laying a -250 line on a journeyman fighting another journeyman. It doesn't make sense to me. So skipping that for sure on the betting side. But I do think Venata will probably get the win if I had to lean away.
Yeah. Look, for me, I think both these guys are trash. Like I'm not like they're fighting someone. Usually they're the big underdog. Like you just how they're gonna lose. But there's no way. I mean, -300 with Lando Venata. I mean, look, I think he has more pathways to win. Darius Flowers is pretty much like round one or bust. I mean, after that, I'm kind of tired. Will Venata slow down? I mean, I've seen decisions with some tough fighters like Zell Huber. So. I mean, if you want,
I wouldn't call Zell Huber a tough fighter.
But like I was forced like not putting any. Like, I would not put this in a parlay either. Like I think there's value there. This fight could be a little bit closer. Maybe but not a -40, not -250 or -2 something. If you get Darius Flowers at +200, I think he has a more than reasonable chance to win it. I don't think he's that much worse than Lando Venata. I think Lando Venata has like some stand-up edge. Maybe Darius has some like physicality edge. I don't know. But me, I'll just take the shot at the dog in a fight where I think both fighters are so poor or not as great, where it's almost like a 50-50 fight. So to me, the value is on Darius Flowers, not just because he's an underdog, but both these guys, there's no way I can feel confident that Venata is going to be able to, reasonably guide this win on his side. Like from all the fights that we've gone through, I'm more confident in a lot more like minus 140s or 150s and Land of Venata being a minus 230 or something like that. But yeah, we'll see. I want to see how Flowers ends up doing, because I did see like some social media posts from Darius Flowers. I think commented on one of another like MMA content creator.
It was Matty Betts, I'm pretty sure.
Or Matty Betts, or one of like another guy I follow, like it's one of our friends. I was like, yeah, but hey, I think Darius Flowers has a shot. But do I want a bet price, man? Not me. All right, and then I think this is gonna be the last fight we talk about today. I don't see any odds posted.
I don't think that's not.
Let's see.
I
don't think it's not. Yeah, there's no. I don't see it. All right, so maybe typology's been messed up, guys. Maybe we gotta get I'm on another site, so then we do this, we'll be on a different format. But
yeah, Carter's kind of out of order in this one.
Yeah. Before we go, anything I want to leave with the viewers? Anything last words?
Yes, I have something this week because of how this card is. Do not blindly bet people that are minus 400, minus 500, minus 1,000. It is not. You're gonna lose in the long run. I know that sounds crazy because you're like, this guy's minus 2,000. Yeah, go ahead and bet a minus 2,000 every week for me for a year and see how much you're up at the end of the year. It's not worth it. So don't blindly bet favorites just because they're big favorites. That's the one thing I want to leave with the viewers.
No, for sure, man. And I'm with you guys. Like, don't bet these blind. These guys are just big favorites just because the other guy is bad. But some of these favorites are not that great. Yeah, or they're not proven yet. Just be careful if you're gonna do that. But that's it from Mr. Frank. Make sure you guys give us a follow on all our socials. I'll put it in the description. Until the next one, man. Good luck, everyone. Hope you guys all cash on your plays. This is the Chin Check Podcast. We'll see you later.